A lot of conversations on this podcast share stories of people who have gone through a season of being in the funk and the steps they took to move forward. And as I've had more and more of these conversations, I've started to notice the same patterns coming up, the same tools, the same practices, the same ways of shifting their thinking that my guests have leaned on to help them pivot out of the funk. And after hearing these things come up time and time again, I realized that they are worth digging into a little bit deeper. So today we're kicking off something new on the show, the Expert Series. Welcome to the WTF Podcast, friends. My name is Molly Smith, and I am on a mission to equip 1 million people with the tools to recognize when they're in the funk, but more importantly, how to pivot out of it. By tuning in today, you have joined me on this mission, and I am so grateful you are here. As part of this series, I'm going to be bringing in experts to talk about some of these topics that keep showing up in these stories. And the first topic we're diving into today is our intuition. Learning to listen to our intuition is one of the most powerful ways we can build self-trust. And that is something that I am deeply passionate about. When I was thinking about who I could bring on to have this conversation with us, my guest today was the first person to come to mind. Karoleen Fober is an intuition expert, a best-selling author, and a teacher who helps people understand how our intuition actually works and how to recognize the signals that many of us are receiving, but often dismiss or second guess. I first found Karoleen through her book, Opening to Divine Intervention. And let me tell you, friends, when I started reading this, I could not put it down. I actually finished this book in flight back to Dallas from a business trip, and I reached out to Karoleen on social media to connect with her. Since then, she has been a constant source of support and encouragement for me. So please join me in welcoming Karoleen Fober to the WTF Podcast. Hey, Brent.
Hey, it's so great to be with you. So excited.
Yeah, I can't wait to have this conversation. And I'm so glad that we're starting with intuition because this is something that I have been personally working on, tuning into and listening for, and trying not to dismiss, exactly those signals. So I'm so excited we're having this conversation. Tell me, let's start out really basic for our audience here. Can you just tell us what is our intuition?
Yes, your intuition is that ability to understand something instantly without logically thinking, without reasoning it out. It just lands very quick. And everybody has experienced it. It's just so fast. And we have so many busy things in our life that sometimes we miss it. But it's really important to pay attention to those landings because they are extremely valuable, from the small things like finding a parking spot to maybe saving your life. So it's like a direct grasp of truth without knowing how you know, but you know.
Yes. I think of what you're describing sounds like clear cognizance to me, right? Like just having a knowing of information without knowing where it came from, but knowing like deep down that it's true.
Yes.
Is that right?
Mm,
Okay.
Exactly. And to help our listeners so they can identify this, many times it is our knowing, but sometimes it's our feeling in different parts of our body. And it all goes into the knowing, but it may land differently. We might hear it through,
Right.
auditorially. That's why when I hear something about with a conversation, I do ask, did you hear that? Because what I found is, and this is so cool, your listeners are going to love this, is that the more you focus on it, even talking about it, and then somebody else has an intuitive hint or divine hint, it transfers. And
Yeah.
so when we have these conversations, when you read books about it, when you have your own reading, when you start talking about your divine hits, let's call them, your intuitive hits, the more you focus on it, the more it expands. It's a universal law of our world. So the more you pay attention to it, the more gifts you're going to get. So that's so exciting.
I love that. Okay. What are some of the misconceptions that people have about intuition?
I mean, right off the bat, there's a lot of people that think it's not real. So that's the first hurdle. It is
Yeah.
real. And I've never met anyone that has never had an intuitive hit. I've
Sure.
had some people that had to think about it a little while. But no, everybody has had some kind of a moment where they got help. And I had a pretty dramatic example of a person that she was like arm wrestling me. She's, I've never had any type of help, divinely, no hits, nothing. And I was just curious. And I said, really, I've never met anyone. And she was, she was down the road. It wasn't like she was 20 years old. She probably was way past 60, 70. And I just found that so hard to believe. I said, oh, I don't believe that. You mean to tell me that you never had anything good happen to you that you do not know how it happened? And I just let her think a couple seconds because
Yeah.
we have to remember there's a lot of experience in our brains and memories. So I let her go back through her own timeline, which is why I wrote the book in my timeline, going through my life. Because as I was going through my life, I started with 50 and I've had over 600 examples. And I have them every day now. I don't even write them down. But she thought of it. And then her eyes got big. And she said, oh my God. And I said, what happened? She said, when I was 8 or 9, my mother gave me a letter to walk down to the, little sidewalk post box and mail that letter. And there was a man with a white van that stopped, got out and said, come here, I have something to show you. In that moment, there was no one around her. In that moment, she heard auditorially, you are in danger, run now. And she did. She ran all the way home. And I'm sitting there going, oh my God, you had the number one help of all. It probably saved your life.
Yeah.
So we forget things that happen. So I really like to prompt people and go through exercises to really prompt those memories because, everybody's had a ton of them.
Yeah. So, what's interesting? I think I agree with you. A lot of people have had these intuitive hits, but they don't call it intuition. I was just on a trip with some girls up to a cabin in Oklahoma, and I was telling them about an intuitive hit that I had in an energy reading. And they were like, what? And I'm like, don't you ever have something that you just know, or you get this nudge? And my friend was like, yeah, I just call those kind of God nudges. I'm like, yes. So what are some other ways that people maybe describe what we're talking about, but using different language?
And I just want to point out with the word coincidences, which is a lot of what people
Yes.
say. And
Yeah.
our culture has given the wrong definition of what a coincidence should mean, because the
Right.
word coincide actually means to meet perfectly together.
Oh, interesting.
So instead of a fluke, weird happening, it means destined to meet totally. So these divine hits that are coming to you, they're coming to you in the right moment, in the right situation, with the right people. And that's why it's so important to be understanding of it. So they'll call it inklings. I call it, when I was in my early years working with clients, I said, well, the radar's on.
Yes.
The divine
Okay.
radar.
The radar,
God nudges, God winks,
God winks. Yep.
just, yeah, that's why I said, we can hear it, we can have the vision, we can see it.
So it comes through the
Smell thing.
senses.
Yeah, my mom
Comes
brings me messages through smelling.
interesting.
When I'm
Okay.
in my home in Iowa, when she wants to let me know she's there, I smell her cherry pie coming out of an oven. It's so fantastic.
That sounds amazing, actually. That sounds amazing.
And this is something too that I think is, it's a good time to just bring it in, is that so many people are uncertain about things. And let's face it, this is all about spirituality and how even our loved ones that we will miss when they transform, but they aren't going too far away. In fact, they're probably more active in our lives. So that one with the smell, the smelling of my mom's cherry pie, it's such a wonderful thing. She died 14 years ago,
Yeah.
but she's totally in my life. And so are all of your loved ones.
Okay, so I want to pivot here a little bit because there is something bigger at play with our intuition, and that's just the idea of the quantum. But just to level set,
Yeah.
I very firmly believe that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. And so when you operate through your life through that lens, first of all, very comforting, number one.
Yeah.
So freeing to know. Yeah, so freeing to know that we don't have to be in control of all the things. Can I get an amen? Right. But can you just describe for the audience just a little bit about how this ties to just the bigger perspective and the quantum field and so forth?
Well, and I love it that you brought up the quantum field because that's where I like to take people where the quantum field is. It's when you have worked enough with yourself and your brain to elevate those energy frequencies. You're what I call up here instead of down in that physical world. So we live on earth, we're in the physical world, but we also live in the spiritual world. So your left brain is the logical side, and your right brain is the intuitive or the spiritual side. And they're designed to do 50-50, but most people walk around with 95% in their logical left brain and only meet in the 5% on the right, the spiritual or the intuitive side of our brain. So we're designed divinely. And that's exciting where I love how science, they actually started looking at the brain and really seeing things. And then they know how to measure brain waves. And they know that we live in a divine electromagnetic field. So when you have a thought, that's the electric part. And then you have to feel it. And that's the attraction part. So electromagnetic
Right.
field is what we live in. And when you understand that and start following those rules, life gets pretty darn good.
We're talking to people who may be in a season of the funk, and I really want to go deep into how we can help people build their intuition. So I know we have chatted a little bit about developing our intuition as a little bit like driving a car or learning to drive a car. So can you share that analogy maybe to crystallize for our audience how they can build their intuition?
Yes. And what I want everyone to know is that you arrived here with your intuition intact. But somewhere they now know about the ages of 6 and 8 when we were quite young, getting into school, learning how to read, learning math. Those are all different language systems. So our original language system, we're learning to talk as well, goes on the back burner. So the exciting part is it's never left you. It's still there. And now we're bringing it to the forefront so that you can actually use it and work with it. But because most people do put it on the back burner, they have to kind of relearn it a little bit. And so it's like a language. And so people have to get into the learning phase. We have kids around the age of 14 get a driver's permit because they see people driving. They're in the car, but they haven't driven the car. There's a lot of rules with driving.
Yes.
Rather dangerous if you don't know what you're doing. Most people use their intuition without any training, any support, anyone to coach them to get it right. And so they're kind of sloppy in how they're doing it, and they're probably missing most of it. That's why 95% are stuck here with only using it 5%. So
Right.
if you just started looking at it as how valuable it is, because to drive a car, kids want to drive a car because they want to go where they want to go. You have to understand that if you want to use the quantum field and your intuition, your manifesting ability in this electromagnetic energy system, you got to learn it. You got to learn what you're doing, or you're going to. That's why I say, oh my God, they just drove a car, $45,000 car right up the road.
Yeah.
You wouldn't do that if you knew the rules. And so you're not going to drive your physical car up the road. Let's not drive your intuition and your manifesting abilities off the road. And that's what most people are doing. They're
Right.
driving backwards and they can't figure out why they're not getting what they're wanting.
Okay. So what I'm hearing is building your intuition takes practice. It takes understanding the rules and just continually tapping in and opening our awareness to those messages that we are technically receiving, right?
Yes. And that is why I wrote the book. And that is why I created the course, because so you would know we teach people math. We don't just expect you to know it.
Know it.
Right? We teach you. So this is a learning system, a relearning. And when everybody arrives, we're all able to make sounds out of our voice. Most of us are able to sing. Most of us may not have been trained very well. We may not be able to hit the notes very well. But if you are trained, you can train somebody to be an opera singer. So I can train somebody to get pretty much whatever they want rather instantly, just like I do. And that's what's so exciting. So you have to be willing to take a little time and learn about it. It's one thing to learn about it. It's like the car. Then you have to get in and drive it. And here's a great example. With one of my clients, it was so exciting. We're all afraid to do a reading, right? I said, okay, you're going to do a reading for me. And she goes, I mean, the look on her face.
I'm sure she was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. And I said, look, you're safe with me. And I just encouraged her and I said, just go ahead and close your eyes. And then I had her read my energy, see if she had any colors. And then what did those colors mean? Because there's meaning behind every message that we get. So it's not just to get the message, because sometimes you might just get one word and then you have to figure it out. So many times you're going to get a hit and then the meaning will come afterward if you will stay with it. So she closed her eyes and she just went for it. And she kind of muttered something like, I don't know what I'm doing. And I just encouraged her and I said, you're driving the car now. I'm sitting right next to you. We're not going to hit anything. And so she closed her eyes. And in that moment, she said, oh, I see pink. I see pink in the center around you. And then I see gold, yellow gold all around it. Well, I resonated with it immediately because remember, when you're doing energy between each other or doing a reading, you're trying to give feedback for them that might be helpful.
Yeah.
And it was, and she was worried that, oh, what am I kidding? Like, this is nothing. And I said, oh my God, pink is my favorite color. It defines me. And then the gold is like the silver lining of the gift that I teach is the ultimate. And so it was very meaningful for me.
Sure.
And it was the first one. And so that's what I mean. You got to get behind that car and get on the road and let's do it.
Okay. So if we're not connecting or connecting with somebody else, and maybe we just want to open up that channel for ourselves, what would you recommend to do just to build the awareness so that we can see or catch the signals or the messages that we're receiving?
That's why I created the acute system. I wanted 5 simple steps.
Okay.
A stands for accept it. It's real. The second step is, and you have to remind yourself in the beginning, it's like, okay, I am driving the car. Okay, good. Because fear and doubt will get in the way in the beginning. But notice, this is the question I asked you earlier when we were talking. I said, now when you are in your car, are you thinking about all the things that you're doing and looking for and thinking of the rules and the lights and somebody behind you and the mirrors? Are you thinking of any of that? No.
Nope.
You're just doing it automatically because our brains are so brilliant that once they relearn these basic things that you can learn about, then it's like it's so easy. And when clients start doing it, they start getting really happy. And that's when it's really exciting. So I would suggest that you get somebody to help you so that you did something right. Otherwise, you're just walking around.
Sure.
If you're in a different town, if you're in a city in Italy, you're going to ask questions or you're going to be wandering around in the fog for a really long time. So you get help, right? So somebody can say, oh yeah, that was a divine hit. And what does it mean? It helps you, just encourage you to go with it, because then you're not alone. And then you're going to get hits. You're going to get actual true hits and you're going to build your confidence. So we don't give first graders, the Bible to read. We give them Dick and Jane or whatever, the
Yeah.
run. We're going to go slow first.
Yeah.
I'm a former teacher. So it's so important just to start learning the basics and learn it right.
Yeah.
No one gets to drive in the United States that I know that gets a license unless they pass those tests from a teacher. So this is really serious and it doesn't take that long.
Okay. So walk us through the acute system.
Okay. So the
Yeah.
A is to accept and,
Okay.
like, this is real,
Yeah.
girlfriends. And then 2, claim it for yourself. So it's one thing that maybe Karoleen's doing it all the time, but you can do it too. So claim it for yourself.
Love it.
And that builds that, okay, I want to do it. Let me try this. Let me do a little reading. Let me see what am I getting. And the third thing is utilize the you in acute is utilize all the tips, the strategies, and the quicker ways to do it. Because I've been doing it, pretty much my entire life. I've studied it. I've talked with other people. I've done thousands of readings. So I know all the shortcut. I know the tips. I know, oh my God, you just said that so that you can make great progress. If you want to do it yourself, that's great. I have a do it yourself program as well, but it's so much faster if you have somebody saying, oh no, that's not it. It's this. Do you see that? So you can have a guide along the way. That's why we go to school. We go to school to be taught how to do things right. And so it's no different with this. I wish was taught in schools and maybe someday it will.
Yes. Okay. And what's the T?
The T is to trust. This is the biggest mistake people make because it's so easy to think, oh no, I'm going to make a mistake. And then you go into doubt and then you backpedal and you think you can't do it and you give. Yeah, that's the trust is really, really big. And the other thing I point out in the system is without all of it, it's really hard to do. And then the E is my favorite, is to enjoy it and be light about it. So I teach people about their spiritual team. I said, hey, have you talked to your spiritual team today? And they're going, I have a spiritual team. I said, yes. When you're
Yes,
born, you
do.
have angels all around you. And then
Yeah.
this is also so cool. All of your loved ones that have passed over, they're part of your spiritual team. Even the ones that maybe had been difficult. Oh, they change up there. They do evolve. And we come here on Earth. People don't realize why we're really here. We come to Earth because it's the rodeo. This is the challenge. And oh, don't we want it? It's like a dog with his head hanging out and his tongue hanging out. He's enjoying the ride. We do love a little bit of a rodeo.
Yes, we do.
Earth is
We
it,
do.
but it's the quickest way to learn.
We do. It's fascinating. As I have learned about intuition and building my skill of tapping in and tuning in,
Yes.
I have been able to look back at different times in my life and say, oh my gosh, I knew that.
You knew
I
it.
didn't know it at the time, but looking back, it was and how it lands for me is a thought. And it's not like a random thought. It's like a thought that's like, oh, this is true. Like it hits my gut a little bit. I'm really big into human design. And so I have sacral authority. So when it hits my gut, it's like that's it.
You get it. Yeah.
Yes. And so I can look back through like decades of my life and be like, I've had this all along, but I wasn't aware of it. I wasn't open to it and I wasn't looking for it. And I think just in the last like 6-9 months, I'm looking for it. When I'm asking for guidance or I spend a lot of time meditating, just quieting the mind, or at least attempting to, and
Yes.
just dialing that in, I'm looking for those intuitive hits. And because I'm tuned in, I get them more frequently. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean by the more you do, the more you're going to get. And the other cool thing is there are many tools and strategies that once you do get a hit, to let you know, oh yeah, that was a hit and that means something.
Yeah.
Or let's say, there's so many ways to utilize it. I usually keep it to 4 areas. I keep it to a person's business or work life. And then I teach strategies on just your personal life, for heaven's sakes. One of my favorite ones in the personal is just shopping. Like, as the older I got, I was just like, gotta go shopping. It's time waster to me. I don't want to go to 5 places. And I just get a hit. Like if I need a new top or a wedding's coming up, I just get a hit. And it's like, go to this store on Tuesday and it'll be there.
Oh my gosh,
And
it's
it's
like a
just,
shortcut to life.
oh, it's a shortcut. That's why. And here's what, this is the fun part. And I love it that we're going to be talking about, the carrot. Why would we even do this? And it's because everybody's working way too hard. Imagine you have a lifeline that knows everything. And when you're in the quantum field, it's only solution. There's no problem. That's
Right.
why it just comes like this. I mean, people will be talking to me. They say, I'd really like to write a book. And they tell me what it's about. And I get the title of it. That's how fast it goes. And so when you get really comfortable at it and you're not scared of being wrong, that's the number one thing.
Yeah.
People are so afraid they're going to be wrong. When I stopped being scared of being wrong and focused on simply helping people or helping myself, okay?
Yeah.
Our friends, our loved ones. Once I focused on serving and focusing on helping a situation, I don't even think about. And then over and over, you're not scared of being wrong. And that's the biggest thing that stops most people. They don't want to make a mistake. If you have a listener out there that really wants to learn, I'm going to challenge them. Go out, maybe your sister, maybe your husband, maybe you got some girlfriends, sit down with them and have everybody read their own energy. Then read somebody else's energy and then ask what wisdom would be really important for me to receive right now. And then
Yeah.
just wait.
For what comes to mind. See, that's the thing is that I know for me it was I'm overthinking it like it's a
Yes.
so for me I don't hear it
95%.
audibly, but I have a thought that comes to mind and that's it.
Yeah.
That's the like for me that's the hit. It's the thought that comes to mind when I've set the intention and I've asked for the guidance or the what have you. The thought that comes to mind, I'm like, "Okay, there you go. That's it."
Yes.
Yes.
And it, yeah. And I always say there's different levels of where everybody's at.
Mhm.
And so the beginning is just opening up and expanding a little bit. And then the further you go, it's like you're learning to master it and learning to do anything you want with it so that it starts expanding. So when you have one way, most people have about two ways that are their favorite. They
Mhm.
know it and feeling it are the two most. But imagine if you heard it and then you saw things. So, for example, if once you are, and it's kind of like when you first take a swimming lesson. Well, what do you learn first? I think you learn to like it under the water. And so you begin those learning things. Well, pretty soon you're going to hold your breath. Pretty soon you're going to start moving the arms. Pretty soon you're going to start flipping the legs, the feet. And pretty soon, oh, you're racing and then you're doing the back float and you see you're becoming so adept at it that you're magnifying your ability to get information in amazing ways. So it's fine to use the basic ones. And each person, by the way, just understand it's like singing or the voice. Every voice is different. I'm an identical twin and we have a real similar voice, but there's still differences. So we're all so yummy and unique. It's going to come to you in your unique way, how you like it. And then if you think it's important, the more you focus on it and the more you say, well, I wonder if I'm going to hear anything. I wonder if I'm going to see anything. Those kinds of things, you're activating your relationship with your divine
Mhm.
partnership. So you not only is the brain using waves to move energy and land the job or land the new client. But then imagine that you've got angels, you've got spiritual beings. Oh, they're working 24/7 for you. So it's not just you. They're like boom, boom, boom. And then you wake up and it's like, oh, a new client just said, hey, I saw this. I want to work with you. I saw you on a podcast. And you're just going, okay, because your essence and the more this is what your listeners are going to love too. You can be really a wackadoodle. You can just be goofy about it and fun because my clients are not. I mean, when I start working with them, I always say, Everybody needs more fun. They're, so it's controlled and
Amen.
everything's so what perfect. And I say, You're bored and you're not having enough fun." And then we start loosening their bodies up a little bit. And then they start going, "Oh my God, I think I got something." And so it's just so fun to watch people progress and get more of what they want. You can imagine coaching my clients. I can't wait till next week to see what they tell me because they're moving and shaking and everybody can do it. So don't feel like you're the only one that isn't quite there. And I'm going to tell you right now, the reason why I relate is because I understand when my
Mm.
mom died and I was so sad that I knew I needed to contact her. So I hired a medium. And after the session, she said, "You're just like me." And I said, "No, I was like her, but I wasn't giving myself credit." My dad had come to me after he died, gave me a wonderful healing message well before all this, but I wasn't giving myself credit. Do you see?
Yeah.
So we create our own reality by what we say. And so if we say, "I'm not intuitive," good luck on seeing a
Right.
mess. But the
That's right.
more you give credit to yourself, and I just started accepting that I was. And I said, "Well, I don't think I didn't see myself even connecting with the angels or the spirits." And she said, "Yeah, you just told me about your dad. You just told me." I go, "We're so set in our little ways that,
Yes.
oh, it's not any of it,
Yes.
but we're totally designed this way." Beautiful. If you just are in that acceptance, claim it, gonna learn some things, trust, enjoy, stay open. It's the only, it's so fantastic. Everybody's gonna get 5, 10 years on their life because you don't have to work up on it. You can do the beginning learning, but then it's just how to receive it and then what to do with it afterwards and how to leverage it.
I love it. Okay. So if people are in the funk and they're like, okay, I want to build my intuition and I want to pivot out of the funk. I want to manifest something in my life. I want to manifest a new job or a new relationship or whatever it is. How does our intuition help us attract or manifest things that we want in our life?
Well, that's so fun. And that's why they come together. When I teach the 4 strategy of, you have to know your value. You have to know you're a spiritual being, like you shared in the beginning of the call. It's You're a spiritual being. You're going to get messages. So let's not back away from reality in a body for a little while. And then it's like, what is it that you want? What do you want to do? What do you want to do at work today? What do you want as a boyfriend or a girlfriend? What do you really, really want? Well, that's manifesting, right?
Hmm.
And when you're trying to work on your goals and what you manifest, you have to know what you want. And then you have to have that energy frequency of being up here and not down here, where everything's slow and doubting and I'm never going to get the right guy. You have to stop yourself and retrain that brain because it's brain waves that are attracting and manifesting for you. Okay, so now we know what you, let's say you know what you want, you've got your goals, you're learning how to allow, and then you want to be open because you're going to start getting intuitive hits that are guiding you to these goals. Like, go over there and open the door. Who's at the door? I go on a walk and I'm on a walk and I see a person with a dog and I'm thinking, "Oh my God, I'm supposed to talk to them." So I sit there and I go, "Hi." I said, explain that. I do it all the time.
Oh my God.
And I never know why in the beginning. That's why it's like Christmas every day for me because I never know why I'm talking to someone. I sat down with 2 gentlemen not too long ago and I sat there and I thought, well, they just seem really nice. But and the next thing I knew, I'm sitting down because it's like energetically, I'm supposed to be there. So we're all sitting there talking. And then he finally tells me he's got cancer and he needs a divine healing right now.
Oh,
He needs a
goodness.
spontaneous healing right now. And I go, wow, I knew I was supposed to be here. And so I went ahead and did that. And it's just exciting. I never know. And I'm just like, why am I here? And then it just
It
unveils.
comes. You
It
know what?
just lands.
You
It's
know what? fascinating is, and I've said this for a while, that to manifest something, you have to be clear on what you want, why you want it, how you're going to feel when you get it, and the how and the when are up to divine. But you said,
Yes.
but you said
Yeah.
something that I'm like, oh my gosh. And I think as humans having a 3D experience in this very dense place that we are right now, we tend to focus on the how it's going to happen and the when.
Yeah.
And we get ourselves in a funk when we are focused on the how. But something that you just said absolutely landed with me. And that is, there are still actions that you need to take to manifest the thing that you want, but the how is going to come through the intuitive hit of your intuition. Can I
Yeah.
get an amen? Oh my gosh.
Hallelujah. Absolutely. And this is the thing. I like to give examples because people think it's so hard. Oh, okay. How am I going to manifest this? And I do it very naturally. I'm like a kid. Just act like you're 5 years old. What is it that you want? One day I'm walking through the house and I said, I just written the book and I said, hey, you know what? We need a major article. We need a major newspaper article. And then I just put my hands up like this and walked to the house, and that was it. I don't sit there and, oh, I don't think I'm going to get it. I'm like, oh, yes. And I don't care when I'm going to get it. And 10 days later, I got a call from the managing editor of Women's World magazine. I never read Women's World magazine. I thought it was a fluke. That's why, oh, yeah, you have to get that email and take that call. You got to call him back.
Oh my
But
gosh.
yeah, she said, yeah, I want you to be on the expert panel for intuition. I said, thank you.
Amazing. Okay.
Thank you. It's just a thank you live. And so just be really fun with it. And I don't get too specific. I mean, I probably should get a little more specific, but I don't care. I just say, hey, I'm going to get 2 clients this week. Let's see what happens.
That's amazing. I love that.
That's why people don't have to work so hard. That's why people are just, they've left. It's like they're all up here trying to
Mhm.
work hard, trying to control. And I'm sitting there like, I'll take a nap.
Yeah.
Let's have some fun. And that's
Go do
what
something
like,
fun.
they
Yeah.
double their income. I mean, let's talk. I don't know where we're at in time, but I would love to talk about what is the carrot? What are people getting? What is truly possible for every listener here? Just like you said, if they're in a funk, they need to lighten up. They need to get that mirror out and say, okay, my hair turned out weird today. I don't care. You know what? I'm a child of God. I'm an intuitive being both Molly, Positive Pants, and Karoleen said so. And okay, I'm going to go with that. And I'm going to start having a little more fun. I'm going to lighten up. I'm going to say, maybe this is possible. I'm going to live up here instead of down here because
Yes.
this is way more fun and way less work. So if you are overworked and you're tired and you've got 3 kids running around and all this, I want you to just go, thank God I listened today to this is so much easier and better, and I'm going to learn how to do it, and then I'm going to manifest whatever it is I want. We get to do it our way. We get to do it our way, and we think, oh no, we have to do it every other way. And I'm always interested. That's why I love asking people what they want. And most people say, I don't know. They don't realize they could have anything they want. I'm always blowing people's mind because I said, well, I don't care. I said, most people, when they start working with me, I said, what's your income goal? I'm writing these things down, we're just having fun. And they go, I thought maybe I'd be, maybe 10% increase. And that's when I say, oh, I said, okay, fine. I said, hey, I don't get out of bed unless we double your income. Are you okay with that?
I'm sure
Because
nobody said
and they all
no.
go, they all just think, they are, a lot of times people don't even know what's happening. I said, this is going to be, they go, really, what's going to happen here? I said, well, you know how you love yourself now? Oh, you're going to love yourself so much by the end of this that you don't know. And it's just too fun. Imagine you're me and you're talking to a client and they're saying, what I really need is I'm currently a realtor. I don't know what I want to do, but I feel like I'm a little bored with realty. And so she's talking. Guess what I'm hearing as she's talking? And all of you are doing this. You need to pay attention to yourself as you listen to people. So she's talking about, she's a little bored with real estate. I hear retreat over and over. I heard it 3 times. So I let her talk. And then when she's done, I said, hey, I don't know if this is how you do it. Hey, I don't know if this means anything to you, but while you were talking, I kept hearing the word retreat, retreat, retreat. Does it mean anything to you? And her eyes got so big. She goes, my daughter and I have been talking about doing a retreat, maybe together, maybe separately for 2 years.
That's amazing. Yep.
And she did a retreat 3 weeks later. It's just magical. I always tell everybody this is the only game in town. And notice how I'm not that, I don't take myself too seriously. And that's why you don't have to worry about making mistakes because you're not in charge of it. You're just going to get the information.
That's
And
right.
everybody is sensory. Last I checked, if you're alive.
Yes.
And I teach my grandkids this. So for heaven's sakes, it's very doable and you're going to love it. And then your story about how you're doing your podcast. I think you've done like 27 weeks of it. It's fantastic. And then you got this divine hit that maybe I would do an expert series, right?
That's right. This absolutely was an intuitive hit. There's no question.
Absolutely. So we really all are having them. And it's just more about let's lighten up. Let's really understand what it is and go get it. There's everything that you want or more. It's just waiting for you to get up in that quantum field where it's all happy and fun and, oh, yeah, I'm going to get it. And I don't care when.
If you are listening to this episode and you know somebody who's in the funk and who could benefit from learning how to tap into their intuition, learning how to be open and curious to the signs and messages that are coming every single day, then please forward this episode to them. Please share it. Guys, I have a big mission. This mission was an intuitive hit, by the way, to reach 1 million people. I have absolutely no idea how I'm going to do it, but you cannot convince me otherwise that I'm not going to do it. I know that it's going to happen, right? And so you can help me by sharing this episode, of course. And also, we're going to put Karoleen's information in the show notes. So if you want to be very intentional about building that intuition muscle and learning those skills and practicing, reach out to Karoleen because she's got lots of programs that you can take advantage of to help build this. Again, this is a shortcut. This is a hack to life. It is definitely a key part of pivoting out of the funk and building that additional self-trust. So with that, friends, we will see you next time.